WWE denies rumors of a former champion returning. Plus, the reason behind a cancelled WWE show has been revealed, and we have a major John Cena WrestleMania update. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Squeezing out one more bit of news of the wrestling variety before I leave and start my Christmas shopping. I know, right? A day early. What a great bloke I am. All Alberto Del Rio seemingly wants for Christmas is a return to WWE. It became the subject on Steve Fall's podcast for WrestlingNews.co when Alberto Del Rio popped on for a chat. He talked about a possible return to WWE, saying that whilst he's not spoken to the new regime, he had a good working relationship with the previous one, and there have been conversations about a comeback prior. He calls himself one of Johnny's boys, somebody that was very much well considered by former Vice President of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis, and he's optimistic about the new regime and possibly a meeting with them. Now, Fightful Select did some digging on this, and they came back with the following. Even in the past regimes, one WWE higher-up told Fightful last year that, quote, "there's no effing way that happens," about a Del Rio return. That same higher-up elaborated today that since his most recent exit, there were never any serious conversations or pitches to bring Del Rio back, even from Laurinaitis himself. Instead, it was portrayed to us that those conversations were more Del Rio gauging possible interests of himself rather than back and forth discussions and negotiations. It's sort of the wrestling equivalent of retweeting yourself, it seems. Today, Fightful was told that there would need to be in favor of Del Rio to hire, and those who would need to be in favor haven't been keen on him since well before his WWE run. When we asked if his name had even been pitched for a possible Royal Rumble entry in previous years, a very popular way of bringing people back for one night only, we were told that a tenured person in the know could not remember such a thing happening. So Del Rio has spoken in a few interviews about possibly returning to WWE and these connections that he had with the previous administration. It looks very unlikely, according to the people there, that we will see Alberto Del Rio, former WWE champion, as part of the mix again. Although, as hasten to say it, reticent to say it, you never say never in WWE, do you? You think of some of the names that promised would never return, and they did. By the way, the rise and fall of the Ultimate Warrior, now available on the Cultaholic YouTube channel for your perusal. Thank you very much. Check it out after this, obviously. After we finish this, then you can go and do what you like then. Now, WWE were meant to be running a show in India in January. It was in an earlier news video today. We talked about this and said the January 18th show taking place in Hyderabad, India is off. And that comes from WrestleVotes. Well, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has updated us on that in his newsletter this week, saying that India, the Indian WWE TV station, Sony 6, who partner with them and were putting the event on in conjunction with WWE, cancelled the show due to the current merger that's taking place between Sony 6 and Z in India. So whilst the merger takes place, they're putting a major WWE show on hold until it is complete. Now, that merger is set to finish up around April. So it's expected, according to Dave in The Observer today, that we're going to see that major WWE event taking place in India soon after that. Now, bear in mind that April is a very busy time for WWE. That's WrestleMania season. Whether we see another show that was due to take place in America bumped in favor of having this major show in India take place instead, that may be what we do. Maybe they move it all the way to October, where Clash at the Castle was this year. Maybe that's what they do. It's certainly one that we're going to keep an eye on. WWE certainly aren't calling time on attempts to take their product and take over the Indian market with it. That is certainly going to be a thing that happens, and I do genuinely believe in the next 12 months we will see a major WWE show coming out of India. I mean, it was there's so much money already invested in stuff like that, and there was with designs on talent to put onto those shows. I could definitely see it happening. So no show on January the 18th and no live Raw on December the 26th either. That's not happening. Normally we would get a live episode of Raw on or around Christmas. I believe it was only a few years ago we had a live Raw on Christmas Day night. It's not out of the realms of possibility to do it, but not this year. We're getting an absolute best of WWE instead. Fightful Select did some digging about this as well. And they say one talent indicated that they hadn't been told the reason and said they were wondering themselves as to why before updating us, and noted that it was likely to give production workers some additional time off. Another WWE source confirmed this as well, mentioning that when WWE does live events, it requires far less people, and even sometimes entire departments won't have to work those. So it's giving some back staff and some production team members a lengthier bit of time off. No WWE tapings are set to take place until the NXT on the 28th, I think, or the 27th, something like that. Which is basically saying that, I think even that NXT is in the can. Well, we're definitely getting a live SmackDown on the 30th. We're definitely getting a live SmackDown on the 30th. It's an unusually long break either way. Fightful continued saying one top talent followed up with Fightful, noting that it's probably a good move, even leading into John Cena's in-ring return on December 30th and the first Raw of the year on January the 2nd. That talent also says, while they wish they had a little more holiday time off, they are reimbursed well to work December 26th and the week following. So they do get a nice healthy kickback for working around what is tentatively known as Crimbo Limbo, that weird bit between Christmas and New Year's. And it's great that the production team gets some time off. I think it's important to give hardworking people the time off, which is why it's me and Barry doing the news, isn't it, buddy? Because everybody else is having well-deserved time off. They've all gone back home to your nearest and dearest. We're going in a minute, don't worry. Once we finish the shopping, there's about 3 of these left at cultaholicshop.com, by the way. Get yourself one. Is that the quietest Cultaholic shop plug I've ever done? I think it might be. Now, we spoke of John Cena just then. Let's talk a little bit more about him to wrap up, shall we? So John Cena is indeed going to headline the last SmackDown of 2022. He's teaming with Kevin Owens to face off against Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. Solo Sikoa will probably be around at some point. Wrestling Observer give us an update on John Cena, saying the belief is that Cena will be working WrestleMania, but what we were told is that he's working on his schedule to make sure that it works, but the belief is he'll get it done. Now, John Cena has a major movie that he's filming outside of the US around February and March, which kind of rules him out of making appearances on the weekly TV in that big chunk of the build-up to WrestleMania. So whatever match we're going to see John Cena have at WrestleMania, chances are we're going to see maybe a bit of the pieces put in place as soon as the last SmackDown of the year, where we may see something there. The sooner you can get those dance partners in place, you can have one sticking around and doing the quick step whilst John Cena's off doing the Charleston. I knew what I meant. Didn't I, Barry? Yeah, I did. I knew what I meant. At one point, Dave goes on to say it was talked about that John Cena would have a match with Austin Theory. This is something that we've theorized quite a bit here. That was during the Vince McMahon administration, though. So don't know whether that is still the plan. I think a John Cena-Austin Theory match would be great. I think it'd be a great way to boost Austin Theory. I think John Cena would have some fun with Austin Theory as well, and vice versa. So, I mean, that still may very well be the plan. We don't know. We'll wait and see whether Austin Theory pops up on the last SmackDown, I guess. That'll give us a much clearer indication as to whether or not he's going to be a part of it. We will find out together, won't we, over the Christmas period. I do believe John Cena's WrestleMania match will be somewhat in shape, by the time we're singing Old Lang Syne, you know. Loads of great content across the Christmas period here at Cultaholic, where you and I will be back together doing news on the 28th. We'll have more wrestling news. We'll keep an eye on it. It should be, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm nervous to say, I'm sure it'll be quiet because that normally means it won't be, but we'll keep tabs on it here at Cultaholic. We will have some really fun videos for you over the next couple of days as well. And if you listen to the Cultaholic podcast feed, thank you for supporting us over another great year. If you're a fan of the Cultaholic Classic Raw, Classic SmackDown, and Classic Nitro review podcasts, where we take week-to-week looks at some of the classic years of wrestling, we've got a treat for you coming up on Christmas Day. We've got a treat for you. We really, really have. Thank you so much for supporting us throughout the year. Once again, we couldn't do it without you. However you keep the next few days, keep it well and be good. And for the latest wrestling news, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe and love you. Bye. Squeaky chair.